Welcome to Tea and Transits. It's Monday, May 6th at 9:22 a.m. in Maui, Hawaii, and we are in gate 2.4 in the sun and 1.4 in the earth. So if we click here, 2.4 is going to be the higher goal transcends personal acclaim. The team player acknowledged as the leader, but never the captain, where higher knowing does not have to be expressed to be recognized. Yet the line name is secretiveness. That's this or exaltation. Detriment is loose lips sink ships. The unquenchable fire of the ego engenders anonymity, the inability to keep silent when the opportunity arises for expression. So indirection is going in the right direction enough, or does it have to be shared and expressed and how you say put out there so that people know that I'm going in the right direction? And this is something that, for somebody with the 14, for myself, because this is defined and part of the conditioning is it feels like I'm moving in the right direction. And even me just saying that in a way is part of this detriment. Not to say it's egoic for me to say that, but when I feel like I'm moving in the right direction, again, is that moving in the right direction enough? Or is it something that needs to be, how you say, uh, expressed? And not that the expression of it alone is a bad thing, but again, considering that for me as well, with my lack of definition in these centers here, it's oftentimes it's not always about expressing what I'm feeling rather than recognizing the source of it, or recognizing whether it's coming from me or I'm recognizing it in another being. Oh, are we out here on Cocoa Avenue? I love it. What's up, everyone? To everyone who has joined, we're talking about the transits as we typically do, and we just spoke to this line 2.4, this gate 2.4, which, as we get into the fourth line is about networks, it's about connections and opportunities. And so in here, we're really looking at the transpersonal effect of this aura and starting to anchor in a conditioning that has a relation with the outside world. It's not so much personal, it's a little bit more transpersonal, beyond the self. So that's two. Again, sun is raining down this secretiveness on us. So knowing when to keep things secret ultimately, or having the identity that in a way can thrive in secretness, to be able to move without needing the validation of the external world. But again, the not necessarily needing to be acknowledged as the captain, the team player acknowledged as the leader, but never the captain. So it's really like, how you say, making moves uh from not in the spotlight and being okay with that, which my gate 22 is really good at that. All right, sometimes too good. Gate 1.4, this is going to be the earth. So this is our cup. This is about gate is self-expression. The creative, the line name is aloneness as the medium of creativity. So in exaltation, we have the earth exalted as the symbol of personal perspective manifested outside of influence, where the potential magic of inspiration is diluted. Creativity that must develop outside of influence. So it's kind of reminiscent of gate 40 in here, in a sense, having to isolate oneself or separate one's self from outside influences in order to really come into contact with the true medium of creativity that works best for us. For instance, if you're in a room full of visual artists, especially again if this is a transit type energy, there might be the tendency to want to express oneself through visual art, but that may not necessarily be um, the how you say, the right medium for you. And this definitely speaks to the discretion of 2.4 as well, because again, it really is about finding your own direction, finding a place in leadership where you don't necessarily have to be bolstered via the ego. And with this creativity, it's not bolstered via, oh, everybody else is doing this way, so I'm also creative in this way. And it says here, it says the potential magic of inspiration is diluted, right? When the personal perspective is manifested outside of this, or sorry, the personal perspective manifested outside of influence, where potential magic of inspiration is diluted. So again, in a way, the exaltation is not always good, because this is saying, essentially that there is a delusion or a watering down of creativity that's developed within the confines of some kind of influence. Which is important to recognize, because the detriment here is the potential magic of inspiration is diluted, the need of influence that abandons aloneness and limits creativity. So the inability to actually be in your isolation, or be in your hermitude, or be in your own flow, the need of other people, or the need of, or rather the abandonment of the aloneness, that limits creativity. Um, yeah. So again, we're going to see this manifest in a handful of different ways. Prana says creativity must develop without influence for uniqueness to emerge. Right. Okay. So that makes sense. Thank you for that. Um, in the sense that it's right, if this one is active within the influential spheres of other people, it won't necessarily be your own mutation, which is what these individual circuits are all about. It might be a collective mutation, or just a ping pong of another person, which is, again, is not necessarily a bad thing. The detriment here, the ability to know, like, okay, I'm diluting my own creativity so that I can help somebody else express something. That might be a reason. But again, having the awareness of what's actually going on and the mechanic that's happening is important, and understanding not only why, because we're in this transit, but then also when it happens outside of the transit, being aware of the impact that has. Because again, tracking these transits, not only does it help us learn the gates, but it also helps us recognize the way that we are being conditioned by the transits, which, again, this is just the sun and the earth. If we bring everything else online, we can see that the 8 is also online. So this whole channel of the creative role model is really active right now. We've got, let's see, design Uranus. So this one is in transit for a long time, and we can come down here, look at Uranus, and we can see exactly how long this oh, I'm sorry, the 8 is Jupiter. We can see exactly how long Jupiter is going to be in gate 8. Naturally, the 1 is going to fall out because it's a sun transit, so those are only in transit for a couple days. But the 8 is online until the 26th of this month, which is awesome. Now this is back to today. And so, again, we're looking at the ways that we're being conditioned. So again, everyone right now is charged with the energy of the creative role model. And so a lot of pressure on creating something unique when the creative energy is there. Like, it has to be captured. When it's not there, there might be this extra pressure to, like, why is it not there? We need it there, again, because this is online. So people are going to be freaking out about creativity. And also, people are going to be not necessarily freaking out, but they're going to have an extra emphasis on their direction, if they're moving in the right direction or not. Which, if you guys haven't been using this neutrino platform, by the way, I thought it was just like a web version of the app. It's not. It's not. It's like, I mean, it is, but it's just, this thing is so powerful. I love this platform so much. Especially this changes within 30 days thing, being able to anticipate the transits in a way where, like, for instance, we're looking up here at the sun and earth. These are the main things we track. Between May 8th and May 9th, we're going to shift into the 2343. And then a week after that, we go into the 814, which 814, these both are the hanging gates that connect to today's current transit, which is 1 and 2. Very interesting stuff. 8-1, pressure to be a peacock. Ask yourself, is it time for me to let my freak flags fly? And then relying on your strategy and authority, not just this transit. Thank you for that, Prana. I saw you, I saw the thinking bubbles, and always appreciate when you bring things through. And so, part of letting your freak flags fly, right? I always say is Because it's not about destroying the authority within the external world. It's really more about understanding what capacity the external world has to embrace my internal world. Because a lot of times what happens is there's a conflict in the external world and the internal world, right? So you enter into a group and it's like, oh, what they're doing is not necessarily what I want to be doing. And what will happen is one will try to change the other. The external group will try and change the individual, and the individual will try and change the external group. Now, that is a totally normal thing. However, if there are no points of strategy or steps within your strategy to follow, like the environment isn't giving you anything to respond to if you're a generator, or it's conflicting with your emotions, right? That's typically a sign that it's like, well, instead of trying to change the external reality, I'm just going to move somewhere else where I can let my freak flags fly. So something very important to understand, is it's not about changing the external authority so much as it is about aligning ourselves with an external authority that is more supportive, or a friend group that is more acknowledging and more accommodating. And of course, this can be taken too far in the sense that it's like, oh yeah, you could find a bunch of people that are going to enable the way you're being. But again, if you're really working with human design in earnest, there's always going to be opportunities to improve your environment, to improve the quality of your connections and the people around you. And that's a great thing. That is a great thing to realize. Oh, I'm not a tree. I can move somewhere else and not necessarily be any less myself for it, and actually, in a way, hopefully more myself. And so, with that being said, again, I'm gonna start to figure out some a little bit more systems to be able to deliver this information in a more cohesive pattern. Naturally, this is just like my shotgun third line style. Always super grateful to have Prana in the T in transit to help bring forward some of his wisdom, and let me bounce off of that and give me something to respond to. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in here. Like I said, if you're not using the Neutrino platform, but you have a Neutrino design subscription, go to NeutrinoPlatform.com, plug in the email that you used for your Neutrino subscription. And what's so cool too is, you guys check this out. I have all of my charts from Neutrino Design that are all in here. And I can also add new charts, obviously. Where is my import button? Still learning how to use this platform naturally. Count. No. Well, there's my email. You guys want to email me? Looking for the share button to import codes and stuff like that. Do we have that feature here? Just kind of struggling around to find the code. Import isn't online yet, just syncs with your app at the moment. Got it. Thank you, Prana. So if you want, this library is synced up with my app. So import charts, export charts through your app, and then the platform will sync up with that. Wonderful. Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to know. I imagine that will be up online at some point. And yeah, until then, keep learning, guys. Again, Neutrino platform, you can literally just click on anything and read a whole bunch about it. One of the cool things about it as well is that you're able to edit the information in here. So these are all the incarnation crosses. And if I wanted to say like makes great pancakes, I can do that. I'm not going to do that, but I can save that. And then I also believe, let me see here, import export info. So you're actually able to import and export all of this information to a code. You're also, again, as I said, you're able to import certain custom information. So you can import what I see, you can import what Prana sees, which we actually see the same thing. Use custom info. Go back, go back. And now when I go and click on things, it's going to have I can switch back and forth between the default, which is what everyone upon downloading Neutrino Design sees, and the default or the custom. So now I'm viewing the default, now I'm viewing the custom. And again, this is going to have a lot more information for me to dive into. So with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in to T in Transits, and we will see you next time.